So, how did Catholics end up voting in this election? The editor-in-chief at Crux, John Allen, joins us now to break it down for us. And John, this was an interesting election. You have your Republican candidate, Donald Trump, a pro-life candidate with a big evangelical backing. Then you have a practicing Catholic, Joe Biden, who is pro-choice. It appears right now that the Catholic vote was split between them, and with Biden the projected winner. Do you think many Catholic voters looked past the issue of abortion? You know, were single-issue Catholics outvoted by multi-issue Catholics?
Well, that's one way of slicing the pie, Christine. I mean, first of all, I think we should say we don't actually know with certainty yet how Catholics voted. What we have are the results of various exit polls, and they have been all over the map, really, in terms of how Catholics split. One of the problems with this election, of course, is that exit polls don't work for people who never went to the polls in the first place. And so it's going to take some time. It's probably going to take some national sampling after the fact to know with certainty exactly how Catholics voted. But there does appear to be consensus that the Democratic candidate, Joe Biden, improved upon the performance of Hillary Clinton in 2016. Last time, Trump got the overall Catholic vote about 59-41. This time, most people believe that if it wasn't split exactly down the middle, Biden may actually have had a small edge. Now, that may end up being only movement of about 6 to 10 points.
And if you look at the Associated Press VoteCast system, it was showing that that shift you were talking about among white Catholics, that, you know, President Trump lost some compared to 2016. You know, what could explain that shift? Do you think it's the pandemic response? Do you think, you know, when it comes to Hispanic and Black Catholic voters, maybe his immigration stance or racism? Where do you think that lies?
Well, I mean, first of all, we should say, Christine, that small shifts in the Catholic vote election to election are not surprising at all. I mean, this is the difference between Catholics and, say, Jews who vote reliably Democratic or white evangelicals who vote reliably Republican. Catholics are the ultimate swing vote. They're going into any election. There is about 40% of the American Catholic population that is almost automatically going to vote Republican, about another 40% that is almost automatically going to vote Democratic. The battle is always over that 15 to 20% in the middle who swing one way or the other depending on the dynamics of a particular election.
Right. You know, it seems like the Catholic Church is as divided as the United States. You know, what kind of challenge does that pose for church leaders?
Well, this is nothing new. I mean, you know, the Catholic Church has long been, in some ways, a house divided against itself. We saw that during the Reagan years. We saw that during the Obama years. We've seen it during the Trump years. I mean, the one thing that one has to hope, Christine, I suppose, that perhaps there will be a collective realization that this kind of war of all against all, this never-ending cycle of acrimony and snark, has not led us any place good, and particularly when we are facing a global pandemic where the infection numbers over the last several days have been the highest we have seen in the United States since the outbreak of this pandemic. That is, we face a collective, almost existential threat to our economy and our way of life. Perhaps all of that will induce Catholics, like other Americans, to think, you know, maybe we need to try something different. You know, maybe we need to try finding some form of common ground. We will see.
All right, some good insight. John Allen, editor at Crux. Thanks for being with us.
You bet, Christine.
If you're watching Currents News on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then click on the bell to get instant updates about all of our newest content, because we are putting your faith in the news.